As a friendly reminder, please keep yourself on mute and turn off your video feed to avoid all distractions. You can submit up to 2 questions by chat only. Please submit your questions as clearly as possible and include your name and outlet. We will do our best to take your questions in the order received up until the Q&A begins. We will happily take any remaining questions by emailing dempress@sfgov.org. And now, welcome Mayor London Breed.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all so much for joining us today. Today, I'm joined by representatives from the California Academy of Sciences, the African American Arts and Cultural District, the Latino Task Force, Self-Help for the Elderly, Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, and Opportunities for All. These organizations have always been amazing partners with the city and have really stepped up during COVID-19 for our community. I was out with the Latino Task Force earlier this week to distribute PPE to small businesses, and they are doing amazing work organizing and fighting for resources for the community. The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence are always at the forefront of keeping the LGBTQ community safe and healthy, all while having a lot of fun. Annie Chung and Self-Help for the Elderly are at the heart of serving our Chinese seniors, whether that's through providing meals, advocating for financial support, or keeping them connected to the community. The African American Arts and Cultural District has been working hard to make sure the community members know where they can go for support, from sharing information about testing, business grants and loans, and working to empower youth in the Bayview. And Opportunities for All has helped distribute books, activity kits, and technology that students need to be successful this school year. And their interns and fellows have helped with outreach and community engagement throughout the city. Since the start of this global pandemic, we have all seen and heard advice about how we can protect ourselves and others and slow the spread of the virus. Over time, as our understanding of the virus has evolved, some of that guidance has changed, like face coverings, while other guidance has stayed consistent, like frequent hand washing. You can't walk down the street, go to the grocery store, listen to music, or browse social media without someone telling you to wear a mask, stay 6 feet apart, and wash your hands. I want to acknowledge the City and County of San Francisco's own effort to provide direction to the community. Since January, our city has launched multilingual campaigns on TV, radio, social media, newspapers, bus shelters, and billboards. A team of disaster service workers has been on the streets daily, blanketing our city with posters, multilingual posters and flyers. And since January, this team has distributed more than 3 million posters, flyers, and fact sheets across the city. You can't turn the corner in San Francisco without seeing our official blue and yellow signs. This effort is effective and provides good information, and many people are listening. However, as we stretch into our 7th month of this pandemic, we are looking for new ways to capture people's attention, to sustain the good work of our residents and communities. We wanted to be thoughtful and strategic about how we reach out to people who aren't wearing masks. We wanted to find out why people might not be wearing face coverings and see if we can change their behavior. Because we're all safer when we cover our faces when we go out, and regularly wearing face coverings will help us keep San Francisco on a path of reopening that we so desperately need. I asked our city team, to start working with people and organizations in our neighborhoods to develop community-led education campaigns and outreach efforts specifically around mask wearing, and many answered the call. Our nonprofit arts and faith organizations are on the front lines every day serving our most impacted communities. Because of their work and relationships, they are often the most trusted and most influential than the government. I'm proud to say today we are launching our first series of community-led campaigns ahead of Labor Day weekend. And you are going to hear from some of our partners shortly. But first, I want to address why we are launching this ahead of this current weekend. Historically, Labor Day is dedicated to the social and economic achievements of American workers. Because of this pandemic and all the challenges of 2020, this year's Labor Day has a specific significance. It is a chance to honor the essential workers in our community. We know this virus has disproportionately impacted our essential workforce, many of whom are people of color and immigrants who are exposed to the virus every day because they don't have the option to work from home. Let's honor our essential workers and their families by taking action to protect them, by making sure we're continuing to follow the guidelines that we constantly reiterate. Labor Day also traditionally marks the end of the summer. In most years, we have barbecues, cookouts, and parties with our friends and our family. And I personally wish that I could attend one of those gatherings. As we said from the beginning of the pandemic, the safest thing for people to do is stay at home. But let's be real. People miss their friends and family, and they want to get together. And so if you decide to get together this weekend, we're asking people to keep your friends and your family healthy by having safer social gatherings. If you're gonna be with others, keep it outside. Make sure everyone is wearing a face covering and avoid sharing food and drinks. We know that oftentimes when people come together, especially when they start drinking throughout the day, behavior changes. In addition to keeping our friends and our family safe, wearing a mask is one of the most significant things we can do to help keep reopening San Francisco. Let's be mindful of what we are doing and how we are impacting the spread of this virus. Let's share the love, not the virus. And at this time, I'd like to ask each of our community partners to talk about their campaigns and why it's important to protect our communities this Labor Day weekend and beyond. First, we have Dr. Scott Sampson from the California Academy of Sciences, which lent their creative and innovative design experts to support our city.
Thank you very much, Mayor Breed, and thank you for your strong leadership during this challenging time, including in relation to this coronavirus. And warm thanks to all of our partners. I'm Scott Sampson, Executive Director of the California Academy of Sciences. The Academy has been part of San Francisco since 1853, just 3 years after California became a state. We care deeply about our city, and we're here to put all of our cutting-edge science into keeping this community safe. When we heard that San Francisco is so close to hitting an important mask-wearing milestone, our staff jumped at the chance to help get the word out. The science is crystal clear. Wearing a mask makes a big difference, and we need everyone, especially young people, to mask up. We know beyond a shadow of a doubt that wearing a mask, watching your distance, and washing your hands will help crush the COVID-19 curve. This campaign, available in 4 different languages all over San Francisco, is asking young people to take one small step that can make a giant difference, helping to keep our entire community safe. Whether you're missing outside lands or dinner at your favorite restaurant, a Giants game, or an inspirational evening of nightlife at the Academy, we are all in this together. We are excited to keep the city's reopening on track so that we can all return to enjoying the many amazing benefits San Francisco has to offer. I wear a mask so that we can safely open the Academy and welcome you back for more awe and wonder in Golden Gate Park. Thank you, and stay safe.
Thank you, Dr. Sampson. Now, next we have up Annie Chung from Self-Help for the Elderly, who will talk about efforts to conduct outreach and education with our Asian and Pacific Islander community. Annie?
Thank you so much, Mayor Bree, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Annie Chung with Self-Help for the Elderly. And as Mayor said, we've been in the front line providing essential meals and other elder care services to all of our seniors in San Francisco. And we're honored today, Mayor, to partner with you and to support you in your relentless fight against the COVID-19 pandemic, and to educate the Chinese-speaking seniors and families about the importance of wearing masks once we step outside our homes. Mayor, in this regard, I think our seniors are doing their share in abiding by your health order. I urge all our seniors and families to remember what Dr. Sampson just said and practice the 3 W's. 1, wear masks. 2, wash hands. And 3, watch your social distancing. We know that Labor Day holiday is coming up, and we may be tempted to invite family and friends over for family gatherings. If possible, only meet with members from your immediate households. And if you are attending any gatherings, try to meet outdoors, which will be much safer for your family. Remember, our campaign is to alert everyone to not share any food or drinks or using the same utensils or chopsticks during your meals, and to maintain some social distancing apart from one another. We're doing all of this to keep everyone in San Francisco safe. So please stay healthy, wear your mask outside at all times, protect yourselves and others, and think positive. 我哋非常多謝 Bree 市長，多謝大家，祝大家身體健康，出入平安。Thanks everyone, and thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Annie, for all the work that you continue to do. Next, we have Evan John Glenn from the African American Arts and Cultural District, who will talk about their campaign for the Black community. I also understand the district worked with local rappers to produce a music video that we'll see at the end of this press conference. Evan?
Thank you, Mayor Breed. And we really appreciate the continued support that the city of San Francisco has shown the African American community. It's been a lot of unprecedented work over the last several years, and we deeply appreciate that. My name is Evan Glenn. I am the Operations Director for the African American Arts and Cultural District located in the Bayview in the 3rd Street corridor. So it was a process working with Francis Zamora in the Department of Emergency Management on making sure that the messaging that was put forth in our campaign was representative of the people in the community, our culture, the way we look, and it just resonated with our spirits and our soul. And so that's what you're going to see in our billboards across the city. We also decided that it would be a good idea to put a rap together to be able to resonate with the young people. After talking with my co-director, Erica Scott, she says, hey, my daughter's going to parties and the young people need a message as well. And so we got together with a rap group out of the Fillmore, 16-year-old twin girls called the Poppin' Twins. And they actually wrote the lyrics for the rap that we're going to share for everybody today. And so with that being said, I just want to send a message out to the community to remain safe, because statistically, the Bayview has been hit the hardest with COVID-19 out of any other area in San Francisco. We need to be aware of that. We need to wear masks, stay 6 feet apart from each other, and remain safe. And think about your grandparents. Think about the elderly in your neighborhood, because their immune system obviously isn't as strong. And so we have to start thinking about each other. But again, I just want to thank the city of San Francisco for the work that they've been doing to support the African American community.
Thank you, Eben, for your remarks and for joining us here today. And we're looking forward to seeing that video. Now, we also know that the Latino community has really been the hardest hit in our city. In fact, over 50% of the cases that have been diagnosed were people of Latino descent. And we have not been able to we would not have been able to do the incredible work that we are doing to support this community and to address this disparity if it weren't for the Latino Task Force. They've been an amazing resource to help not only with testing, but contact tracing. Today, Susana Rojas, who is nicknamed the Safety Queen for her commitment to keeping people safe and promoting mask wearing in the Latino community. She's here with us today to discuss the Latino Focus campaign, which we have in San Francisco. So welcome, Susana.
Thank you so much, Mayor Breed. Buenas tardes, everyone. My name is Susana Rojas, and I am the Communication Chair for the Latino Task Force. As Mayor Breed pointed out, our Latino community has been hit the hardest and disproportionately in the city of San Francisco and the state. And thank you so much for allowing me to speak and to collaborate with this, for us, the Latino Task Force, to collaborate with the city in providing resources, education, and support so that our people can feel empowered to take action. We are a resilient community, and this virus is just one more challenge for us to conquer. To stop the spread of COVID-19 and to protect our Latino families and friends ahead of Labor Day weekend and beyond, I'm here to showcase the Latino campaign, El Amor se demuestra con acciones, or actions speak louder than words, as a way to demonstrate and model to our community the actions to take to have a safer interaction socially and in our families. We can show love by masking up. We can stay 6 feet apart, and most importantly, avoid sharing food and drinks. Now, we all know that in the Latino community, food is central to our interactions, that it is the backbone of our community, and that social gatherings and being with our large families is what makes us feel loved. But during coronavirus, we must learn to love differently. And the love during the coronavirus looks like wearing our masks, washing our hands, staying 6 feet apart, and in protecting our seniors and our young people. Love, hugging in our families and physical contact is something that we do on a daily basis. But right now, we have to demonstrate our love by hugging virtually, by wearing our mask. And last but not least, we have sacrificed. Hemos sacrificado mucho, familia. Ahorita para poder estar acá en esta ciudad y en este país. Les pedimos que nos sacrifiquemos un poco más al seguir estas reglas. Póngase las mascarillas, mantengamos los 6 pies, lavémonos las manos, que juntos podemos, y sí se puede. Thank you.
Thank you again, Susana, for joining us and all the work that you continue to do. I am so excited about our next speaker. Sister Roma from the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence is one of my absolute favorite persons in San Francisco. And so we are glad to have you here with us today. The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, along with Supervisor Raphael Mandelman, they launched a campaign focused specifically on the LGBTQ community. And we appreciate Sister Roma and all the sisters and the work that you all continue to do. And let me just also add that the poster that was created was just amazing. And so thank you for your work, ladies and gentlemen. Join me in welcoming Sister Roma.
Hello, Mayor Breed. It is such an honor to be here today with these amazing community leaders. I cannot wait to see, I can't stop thinking about that rap music video. I'm dying to see it. And of course, now I'm hungry for some great Latin food. I want to thank you so much for your unprecedented leadership during these very hard times. Working on this campaign has been so much fun. Your team is amazing. You know, since the beginning of this pandemic, it's been hard for people in my community not to compare it to HIV/AIDS, which, as we all know, ravaged the LGBTQ community very badly in the early 80s. And the sisters stepped up at that time and were actually leaders in the fight against HIV, AIDS, and providing education. So when this pandemic got here, we're all like, ugh, this feels vaguely familiar. When Tom Temprano approached me from Supervisor Mandelman's office about doing a mask distribution, I went right to my sisters, and of course, everyone 100% was on board. And we hearkened back to our roots of harm reduction and gently reminding our community that it's best to stay safe and protect ourselves and each other. As the mayor mentioned, this is going to be a big holiday. We've all been cooped up for so long, and people are just itching to get out and hug and dance and see each other. I know it's trying and it's difficult, and I want people to know that there will be a time when we can see each other again and hug and hold each other the way that we're used to. But in the meantime, the sisters want to remind you that wearing a mask can be fabulous. So look for us on Friday in Dolores Park. The sisters are going to take it to the streets, to the park. We're going to be having a press conference there as well and handing out over 1,500 masks. And then we're going to take it to the Castro, right in the heart of our community, for our first Friday event, which will be at 5 p.m. on Friday in the Castro. So thank you again for including us in this, and it's been my honor and privilege.
Thank you so much, Sister Roma. And I almost didn't recognize you without your makeup on. But Friday sounds like fun, so who knows? Maybe I'll join you to get this campaign boosted.
That would be amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, finally, I want to introduce a young leader who has a bright future ahead of her. Please meet Athena Edwards from our Opportunities for All program. Athena?
Hi, thank you so much, Mayor Breed. OFA is proud to share with you today our Youth Mask Campaign, which is an initiative to get young people engaged in combating COVID-19 through creative expression by providing a design outlet with the opportunity for young people to have their designs featured on a mask widely printed and seen throughout San Francisco. It is so important to demonstrate proper COVID-19 behavior, and masks are just one tool to prevent the spread of COVID by catching droplets when you cough or sneeze, making it more difficult for the virus to be inhaled accidentally by others around you. I know it feels as though we've been dealt an enormous amount of obstacles from previous generations, so indifference, while understandable, is not sustainable. It is imperative that this generation feel empowered to take care of ourselves and to take care of each other, because we need to be more active and take on an active role in fixing our nation's challenges, even beyond COVID-19. So to my fellow Gen Zers, let this campaign be a call to action to join against COVID-19. And remember, don't just think about what wearing a mask does for you, but how wearing a mask can protect others around you. And last but not least, a shameless plug, please be sure when you're out and about and snapping away for the gram to tag us on social media at COVID-19 OFA and use our hashtag 6 feet back, but 6 feet under. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much, Athena. And at this time, I want to introduce the video that Evan mentioned we would play. So let's get to it.
Early in the morning, keep your hands clean. Hey, Joe, let me know, sir. COVID-19, gotta stay up on my face, take 6 steps back. Ain't no coming in my space. Where I'm from, we keep it safe. Pandemics in the States, many people in the world that are filling up the grave. We be on it early in the morning. Keep your hands clean, gotta do it, it's important. Keep your mask up, save lives, cause they matter. Traveling the world, ain't no party until after.
Very nice. Thank you so much. That concludes our press conference. I guess now we'll be opening it up to a few questions. I want to take a moment to thank everyone for joining us and really express my appreciation to all the organizations for the work that you are doing to make sure that we are staying healthy and we are staying safe. I love the amazing posters, the graphics, the videos, and all the cool things that we are using to really get people actively engaged in this need to find creative solutions to getting folks to comply with the mask wearing requirements. When you think about it, I think about things in the past, for example, when I was a kid and they were talking about wearing your seatbelt and the work that had to go into getting people to wear their seatbelt to save lives. And now today it's natural that when you jump in a car, you put your seatbelt on. I think about the campaigns around smoking. There was a time where people would smoke on planes and smoking indoors. And it's not to suggest that people aren't still smoking, but there's a cultural shift that has happened as a result of that. Even condoms and pushing for people to have safe sex. A lot of what happens when we talk about mask wearing has to be something that we get creative with, that we build into the culture of this city, of this country. And the work that you are all doing is playing a significant role in getting the community to trust that this is important to not only you, but also important for them. And it's really about saving lives. So thank you all so much again for your hard work. And at this time, we're happy to open it up for questions.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you to all the community members that joined us today. We'll jump into the question and answer portion. Mayor Breed, we've received multiple questions on the same topic, and this is one question that'll cover it. Kate Larson from ABC 7 News. I'm sure you've been following your own COVID-19 guidelines about salons being closed indoors and not getting your hair styled. Stylists have been sacrificing and struggling without work. So, what do you think about Speaker Pelosi's decision to get a blowout in San Francisco on Monday? Does she owe the service industry an apology? Is ignorance of the health orders an excuse?
Well, let me just start by saying it's really unfortunate that with everything happening in this country, with the fact that we basically have a dictator in charge of running this country, and we have our Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, working day and night to try and fight against the challenges that we have with the White House. She has spent her entire career working for this city and working for this country. It's unfortunate that, you know, this conversation has kind of blown up in the way that it has and distracted us from the real issue. The fact is, we don't have good, solid federal leadership that is helping to facilitate this COVID response. And over 180,000 Americans have died as a result of this virus. And had we had what we needed from day one from this federal administration, then we would probably not be in as bad a situation as we are. Our focus should be on making sure that we as a city are providing also good information. I know that there's been a lot of confusion with our small businesses and their operations and whether or not they can operate indoors and outdoors. And so we as a city, and the confusion between the local information and the state information, we have to take responsibility of doing a better job around communication. So we could either focus on blaming and saying who should do what, but we have bigger issues as it relates to this country. And I have a tremendous amount of respect and appreciation for the hard work that Nancy Pelosi does every single day to take care of this city and this country. And that's what we should be focused on, because we are dealing with very challenging time and leadership does matter. I do understand that the industry is suffering, not only the hair industry, but the nail salons, the masseuse. Like, we haven't been able to allow those businesses to open. So I empathize and I understand the frustration, and that some businesses may never even open again. And this is hard for everyone. The decisions that we are making around public health have everything to do with trying to keep people safe. And unfortunately, the economy and people's livelihoods sadly have suffered. So I empathize with that, but I do think it's important that we focus on the bigger issue, and that is getting back to making sure people are doing their part to wear masks and to stay safe and to stay healthy. And the city will do our very best to do a better job around our communication with our small businesses throughout San Francisco as we begin our reopening efforts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The next question comes from Christian Cafton with KTVU. With the Labor Day weekend almost here and warm weather in the forecast, what city amenities such as parks and beaches are open? And what steps are you asking celebrants to observe?
Look, we know that people are going to want to get out. We also know that many of the parks that people go to are for people to socialize and pick up a date or two. We know there's a lot of flirtation and a lot of interactions and a lot of fun, but what we need you to also do is comply. There's more parks than Dolores Park or Chrissy Fields or certain places. There's other places in San Francisco that you can enjoy as well. So what we're asking people to do is to just make sure that you're using good judgment. So if you go to Dolores Park and you see that it's crowded and there's really no place for you to be with your crew of people and maintain your distance and your mask and so on and so forth, why even step foot in that park? We're asking people to use common sense. We will be out doing enforcement more so than we have in the past, but we want people to use common sense because what we also know, unfortunately, is that we tend to see spikes in our numbers as a result of the holidays. And Labor Day, I'm sure, is not going to be any different. I've had people who have reached out to me to invite me to barbecues, people who wanted to do a jumpy with the kids and all. And I'm like, why are you calling me? You know, I'm going to say, no way. That is not that I'm not going to go, but it's also that you shouldn't be doing it in the first place because this is where the virus transmits. And so I'm just asking people to just remember, be a part of the solution. And we will do our very best to be out there and to do enforcement, but we don't want to have to do enforcement. We don't want other people enforcing against other people, creating more tension than already exists as a result of people who are not being good citizens by wearing their mask. We just want everyone to do their part. We're going to try to do our part. We hope that we don't have to start closing down things and closing parking lots and doing the kinds of things that will make it difficult for people to be able to just go out and get some fresh air. We have street closures all over the city. We have so many parks where there's no reason why people have to crowd in 1 or 2 or 3 parks in San Francisco. The beach has been a lot more manageable because we've opened up more space there. Again, just really use common sense when you're out there to protect not only yourself and your family, but the people around you.
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor, and everyone else for your time. There are no further questions at this time, and this concludes today's press conference. Thank you and stay safe.